It's questionable whether or not Abby does have a taste for blood, or a stomach for blood, rather, but I know our after show has a taste for wine. But in all seriousness, we're breaking down Scandal Season 6, Episode 8, A Stomach for Blood. Stick with us. Damn it!
That was a good one.
Wait, was it actually Episode 8, though?
Episode 8.
It's questionable whether or not Abby does, in fact, have a stomach for blood, but I know one thing's for sure, our after show definitely has a taste for wine. But in all seriousness, we're breaking down Scandal Season 6, Episode 8, A Stomach for Blood, right after this. Stick with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey.
Hey, shoulder, 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 shoulder. I don't know all the words, but I'm sure it's
I don't know any of them. I just know the confident part. But we're celebrating for all the confident women that's out there. Okay. We're with you. We're with you.
It's Ladies' Night.
It's Ladies' Night on the show, and it was Ladies' Night on Scandal.
Yes.
Abby.
Yes, this episode was all about Abby, for sure.
A new perspective.
Oh, I thought it was going to break. Ready to go.
Okay. Oh, we're good. We're good. Thanks, Demi.
We're feeling the confident vibes for sure.
Yes.
As we pointed out, it is Ladies' Night. We are down one host tonight. Ryan, if you're watching this, feel better.
Feel better.
Ryan's out sick tonight, but you're still here in spirit.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on our Scandal After Show. As always, we're so pumped to be with you guys. You guys know me. I'm your host, Christine Alexis. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean.
And I am Parris Rose with 2 R's. You can find me on Instagram and Snapchat at Parris Rose.
All right. Twitter yet?
I'm never getting into Twitter. It's way too confusing. I tried.
Oh
no, I did try, guys. And it's way too confusing. No,
Not
thanks.
confusing.
She's a mature woman, guys.
Right.
I think you're too mature for Twitter. Is that right?
Maybe.
So hashtag Paris will never get a Twitter.
Yes.
Well, that's that. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jessica Williams. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Jessica WW and on Instagram at Miss Jessica Williams.
The shade.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter
bit.
because I'm there. I don't know about you. No.
Yes, and tweet us. You guys, you tweet us some really good stuff. I mean, we got a tweet last week. Literally, one of our fans wrote out an entire message of theories in the note section, and then they screenshotted it and sent it to us. Amazing.
So dope.
Yeah, we love responding.
Yeah, we love when you guys do that. Please continue the conversation with us all week, not just live on our after shows. We love going through theories with you guys. And, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, to AFTERBUZZ TV, and to tune in every Thursday because we love chopping it up with you guys.
We do.
Yes.
So tonight was A Stomach for Blood. There's not blood in this wine glass, though. Don't get it twisted.
Just pure wine.
And it was all about Abby, which did you guys like this perspective?
Ooh.
We didn't get any takes from anyone else. It was literally all Abby.
I was only mad because I was wrong. I thought that Abby was the head, so I hated this episode. I don't want to be wrong, okay?
Oh,
bitter.
Oh no, I liked
bitter.
it. Hashtag bitter. Oh, well, you can hashtag if you're not on Twitter. We're just giving our own shady boots tonight. In absence of Ryan, we're just going to be shady this entire episode. I liked the episode.
Yeah.
I did. And yes, we were wrong because you and I were in the same boats last week, and I don't mind being wrong. I like a little challenge. So I think that tonight answered so many questions.
Yes.
I mean, it put perspective onto things, and it made us really empathize and understand Abby's perspective.
For sure. I mean, I had a feeling that they were going to go that route and just, let us all calm down from the hype of the way the last episode ended, teasing us. We're freaking out, what? Abby's behind it. And they were like, hold up. Let's take it real back again to 60 days before the election. I feel like that's where they always start.
Yeah.
And they gave us a really in-depth perspective, which I appreciated. I thought it was great. So that's where we start off, and I thought it was interesting that I don't know. Did we come up with a nickname for them? Two Live Crew? That's
Two
what
Live
they
Crew,
were?
yes. Our wonderful viewers, our chat,
Yes.
they actually made up that name, and we have so many people in our chat tonight. We have a
Yes.
lot of people from the East Coast that have stayed up with us, and we appreciate it so much. We read all of your comments. Even, it goes kind of fast throughout the show, but afterward, we read all the comments. We love connecting with you, so we really appreciate the live viewers because y'all give us amazing theories.
Yes.
Claps
Yes,
to
you
you.
guys. We
Y'all give us
definitely
amazing theories.
Can't get jump right in without shouting at our live viewers.
Yeah.
We call Jessica. We appreciate you guys so much, especially how outspoken you guys are. It
Yeah,
definitely
we love it.
keeps us on our game for sure.
Yeah.
So where do we begin?
That's a good question,
I'm
girl.
just gonna start by saying I really like seeing that they go back to the election night and we see each person's perspective. Because it is different from each point of view. I mean, we're seeing the same thing. We see Frankie's speech, he gets shot, and it can seem boring, but I really like seeing how each person takes this, like this shooting happening, and seeing it from Abby's point of view, her face right there in the beginning when he got shot. I was like, oh, damn, she didn't know. Like, this is crazy for her, too.
Yeah, that point, I think, where the episode opened was really telling. Because at that moment, we already were told by the show, like, okay, it's not what you think it is. Because it just said it all on her face.
It did, and I agree about the different perspectives. And I also just really, this episode more than ever made me really appreciate the writing, because this was an intricate episode. I mean, literally, they had to string together a series of the last 7 episodes that we saw bits and pieces that made us think one way, showing it from a totally different perspective, literally gave us like a 180 flip on it. We're like, wow, Abby isn't evil. She's not the mastermind. She hasn't lost her mind. So that was powerful to me. The writing, impeccable.
I have to agree. I think that this episode could have been really hit or miss had they skimmed over some details or made some things, still left things ambiguous or unclear. Like, this was the episode to fill in all the gaps. And unfortunately, I think, you know, everyone was waiting to find out if Huck was really dead or not. That was the one question that I wish they would have clarified for us. But, of course, ABC can't give it to us that easy. They want us to keep tuning in to find out the fate of Huck, which I guess is still in the balance from the teaser that we saw.
I guess so. I'm going to assume he's still somewhat alive. Not somewhat. He can't be somewhat alive. But I'm going to guess he's alive.
Huck's not dead.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord.
I'm going to just go ahead and say that.
I'm going to start a Twitter campaign, like, Huck's
Huck's not dead.
He's not. Like, he can't be. I felt it. That's why last week I didn't want to pour out for him.
Yeah. I know.
It's just like Jennifer, when she watched the show, she's like, Jennifer, like, no, because Huck is alive.
Yeah.
Huck is alive. Okay.
Yeah, part of me wants to believe he's not dead yet, only because I would hope that the show would give him a better send-off than the way that episode ended. But bringing it back to our main girl, Abby, who was the inspiration behind our opening song, Confident, because this episode was all about her. I mean, she was humanized. We really got to connect with her in a different way and really see all of the struggles that she went through to get to where we kind of are in the storyline altogether. Do you guys agree with the moves that she made?
On one end, I'm like, Abby, how could you be so naive? These people had $300 million to offer you. Who has that much money? She should realize this is a powerful group. Let me understand who they are first. But I get it. Fitz put her in this situation. She doesn't want to go to Vermont. Who wants to go to Vermont? I get it. But I was just thinking, come on, Abby. I just wanted her to be smarter. But since she wasn't, I think she handled what she had to deal with perfectly. I mean, who can keep their calm and their, like, aggressiveness in that type of moment? So
She did. I mean, she handled it well. And I think that she was aware. I don't take Abby as being naive. She said, well, you are a donor. I never heard of you, but my team vetted you. So she went through those steps and wasn't just meeting with random people. But just real quick, Erin Robinson in the chat, she was saying that she felt that last week ended with such a bold move from Abby, but then it kind of regressed because it went down to, or digressed, it went down to a point of being blackmailed, like everybody else getting blackmailed. So it was kind of one of those things where she said she felt it was a little bit predictable because she thought that a bold move was being made, that it was so shocking, but then actuality wasn't a bold move. You were blackmailed like everybody else.
Yeah.
So that is a good point, Aaron.
That is a really good point, actually. Like, as much as I felt like, you know, vindicated by this episode where we got a lot of answers, I would have been more pleasantly surprised had she actually made a bold move and was a villain. I think that would have been a really cool twist for the show to make, but I guess all in all, they're all really gladiators at heart.
Yeah.
Or I guess their moral compass is due north. But what I did find interesting, now seeing it from Abby's perspective, is that this entire time she never thought about bringing Olivia in, like, and telling her what was going on. Like, I thought we would have seen more of her thought process of, like, who can I go to? I mean, I know she felt kind of boxed in. These people were blackmailing her, but I always thought that no matter what, those two had a really good relationship, that if push came to shove, she could maybe open up to her about this, especially dealing with powers that are so much bigger than her, and she never once thought about Olivia. Like, she tried to handle it the entire time her way.
You bring up a good point, because that really does show how much the relationship has changed. And how that's not her person to go to fix it. She didn't go to Olivia to fix it. That's what she does. And, you know, I kind of felt like she didn't go perhaps because she fed into the power moment for a second. She was considering, wow, I can be president. I can be powerful. I can have a team. I can be Team Abby. So I felt like she was kind of going through those motions. So of course she wouldn't go to Olivia for those reasons. But then when she did get into that compromising situation, the first time she was notified that they were up to no good, I did feel like that was a good time to at least go to the president. He could protect her and everyone around her. So that was shocking that she just kind of was like, okay, well, what's the plan? Only because they dangled around some money laundering. I'm sorry. If anybody can handle the situation or pardon you for an offense, it would be the President of the United States.
For sure. I mean, but we saw a different dynamic with their relationship this episode. I mean, they butt heads occasionally, but she really checked him, and I thought that was a really interesting scene in the Oval when they were kind of mulling about what would be the next steps for Fitz, and it seems like the way that they presented that this episode, that was really the driving force behind her deciding to link up with the Two Live Crew unknowingly and take this next step. I thought, I mean, I guess that is a predictable way. I don't know. I guess that was the only way they could just give her a motive besides an evil one, since it turned out to be that predictable way.
I think they made it easy for the viewers to still love Abby, because they gave her this very, like, who wants to go to this weird place in Vermont? So it feels like most viewers will be like, okay, Abby, we get it. That's why you want to be president, because your alternative is really lame. But I thought it was too easy. They made it too easy on Abby, on her character.
It's like, that was a big ask. Who wants to go to Vermont, Fitz? Like, nobody.
Come on.
You know, and she worked so hard to get to this point of being chief of staff, and now you're wanting her to move to a weird town, you know, not even
to build a library at that.
Yeah, to run this foundation. I mean, I can understand why she's like itching. She's itching for more. She's itching to really live in the power that was given to her. Yeah. So I think that, you know, but that scene, though, if we can just go, you know, Ryan isn't here, but in honor of him, I think that we should still do Shady Boots.
Yes.
If we have the Shady Boots music,
do we have it?
Go ahead.
Yes, we do.
If not,
we can sing it like last time. Yes.
We're down a quartet member.
It's these boots are made for walking.
Made for walking. That's our Shady Boots little intro.
It's okay. We can do it. Here we go. These boots are made for walking.
Okay.
Oh, that's just.
He's like, stop singing, please, guys. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, clap.
You keep saying you got something for me.
For me.
Something you call love.
This is my dream to sing.
You've been a mess where you shouldn't have been.
All right, let's wrap it up. Wrap it
So
up.
anyway,
All right,
these boots are made for walking.
Who are we giving the Shady Boots to this week?
Well, I feel that Shady Boots needs to go to Abby. This is an episode for Abby, but it was so shady, that line that she delivered to Fitz. He was like, yes, let's move to Vermont. Yes, that's where I want this library. Yes, I want to make jam. And she goes, Olivia, we'll never go to Vermont with you. Like, pretty much, she was like, bloop.
He was like,
And
that's
he goes,
low.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't want to
No,
finish
go
it.
ahead. No, that's what he said.
Because I was
That's
actually
low.
thinking, ooh, that's low, Abby. And then he said, I was like, oh, I
He
could write
goes,
the
that's
script.
lower than you.
Yeah.
Like I was like, dang, Abby, you just like crushed all of his millions of dreams of what he wanted to pursue after the White House.
That was a pretty savage line, but I gotta say, right after though, I really did agree with Fitz's rationale as to
Yes.
why he doesn't want to be bothered with the White House
too.
anymore. He said, "I gave, this power, this position took my son. It nearly took my life. It took everything in me. I mean." It was a little victimizing in some ways because I'm like, okay, everyone kind of handed you all that stuff anyway. But I did feel for him.
Yeah.
I can get why he wants to be away from it. Choosing
Right.
Vermont, though, definitely underlying
Ooh.
tones of wanting Liv back, which I think at this point in season 6 is really interesting to even bring back because those two are
Right.
not even a thing.
They're not even talking in a way. I mean, talking to that level at all.
Right.
But one thing, in addition to what you were saying about how Fitz kind of vindicated himself in that point, he said that this is a blood-sucking swamp. And I was like, dang. Because we always compare to like what's going on politically right now. And Donald Trump said, drain the swamp. I'm just saying.
Oh, yes. Make
that was a
connection.
good line
Yeah.
for
Okay.
sure.
Swamp, swamp,
I agree
swamp.
with that shady boots, but I have to, my shady boots this week.
Yes.
Oh, it has to be Sarah. It has
I
to
was
be
going to
Sarah.
give it to Sarah as well, but go
Yes.
for it.
It's Sarah when she said, I'm a real bitch.
Yes.
Bitch, yes. I was like, I didn't like Sarah until this very moment because she
The
is
whole
so
line.
right.
Yeah, say the whole line.
I can't remember now. I'm a real bitch. Oh, you used to play
wrote
one
it
on
down.
TV.
Yeah, you only
Yeah.
play one on TV.
Yes.
I mean, way to check somebody.
Yeah,
She definitely.
so she
I
gets
think
that.
she got shady boots.
She
this
got
week, too.
the wittiness, and she's funny. I was like, okay, you get it. You get the shady boots.
I love just her aura. Like, of course, we hate her because she killed Vargas and she's evil. She's blackmailing all of our people. But I just love just this character that she plays and how she can literally be a badass.
Yeah.
And I love that moment when Abby walked into the conference room and was basically like telling them, the ultimatum type of situation. And they're like, you're in no position to do anything. And she says something and she walks towards her like Sarah from the
to be
2 Live
held back.
Crew, she walked toward Abby as if she was really about to throw down, and the guy was like, no. Like, he knew to hold her back. He was like, wait. I was like, this girl is gangsta,
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, she proved it from the time we were introduced to her. She walked in that room where Papa Pope was with that red dress, like, excuse me, you will not mess up our plans. Like, she from day one was like, I'm
yes.
not the one. Don't mess with me. So,
Can we just say all the
her.
names that she's had? I mean, she was Sarah, she was Marjorie when
Yes.
she met with Abby at the luncheon, and then she was Samantha,
Yeah.
when she was
With Rosen's girlfriend.
Rosen's girlfriend.
and as a donor, she was Margie Rowland. I wrote
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Marjorie,
So,
yes.
With
Yeah.
that, so yeah.
she's a little bit of a chameleon. She can really be anybody. And
Yeah.
I really got to give it to the actress. I got to look her up because I don't want to make any assumptions of who she is, but dope with the acting and just being able to be so versatile and smooth and savvy and really get her way. I mean, I think she's been the biggest curveball in this season thus far. So
That, and like we said last week, that is Jeff Perry's daughter in real life. And I have
Yes, I
some
keep forgetting
tea. I have a
that.
little insight. A little later in the show, I got to attend the Paleyfest this past weekend with the Scandal panel, and they talked about it and how she actually became a part of the show. So stay tuned.
Oh, okay.
Stay
Yeah,
tuned
we'll
for the
get
rest of
into
the
that in just
episode.
a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know me and Parris were having like serious FOMO watching all of your teasers on social media, being there. That must have been such a dope experience.
So dope.
But we'll get into that in a sec.
Yeah.
Continuing to just digest this episode. So actually, since we're on that note, talking about Sarah and how she's actually playing David Rosen's girlfriend in this episode, I think at that point, that's when Abby realized she hit a wall. Like, I think David was like her fail-safe,
Yes.
someone that she could probably confide in and get a better grasp of the situation. And they thought of that. They got ahead of her at every move.
They got her man. They got her ex-man. They got everyone.
Yeah, the 2 Live Crew is
Seriously.
real. They're real. Like, I want to say it was Ryan that made a good point a couple of episodes ago when we were first introduced to the 2 Live crew. And he was saying, like, we were kind of wondering, like, why aren't they, like, incognito? Like, why aren't they actually, like, covering up and do-da-da? They do not care. He was like, they're so bad that they do not give any Fs. And that is true. They're literally like, every time I meet someone different, I'm going to give a different name. I'm going to be under this foundation with an address. So anytime you want to walk into our building, you can. And I'm going to control you because I have the money, the power, the resources. And they are literally ruthless.
Yes.
Literally ruthless. I mean, they... So that whole question that we kind of pondered with, who is over the 2 Live crew? I think the 2 Live crew is over themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting to figure out what the bigger picture is here. I mean, they kind of allude to it that they obviously want someone that they want in power specifically, but for what reason? What is supposed to come out of this? And, you know, even just thinking back to that scene when they were outside of David Rosen's house and Sarah kind of checked Abby like, oh, you're so naive, and they're so naive that you even thought you would be president.
Right. Yes. I was like, oh, I was naive too.
Yeah, I mean... I thought that that's what the motive was, and then I was like, wait, but then how does that make sense? Then why would they then want Melly to be like?
And how would that even happen?
Yeah, right. I was naive too. I really thought, oh, so they want Abby to be president? Okay, what did they see in Abby? And then I was like, oh, damn, no. I was fooled again.
When they said that threw me off because I was like, well, logically, how do you move from the chief of staff to president? And even if Vargas got shot, then Cyrus would be there. Even if Cyrus went to jail, then it would flip to the alternative parties. Like, it has to be people who are actually who are actually nominees elected from the primaries to be nominees in the election for the electoral college to actually put someone in office. Yeah. So you would have had to kill literally everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody to get her there, and then how does that even work? So I was like...
Yeah, and, you know, even in the flashback moment where Melly and Abby were talking about just the historic moment and the real significance behind, you know, Melly potentially being elected, and I knew that was, like, an inspiring moment for Abby. You could just see it on her face that she felt so empowered by that moment, but I still couldn't connect the dots as... I mean... Maybe if Melly paves the way for her, then she could be up next. But I still didn't understand at that point where Abby, besides the money, like why she would be invested in making this happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. So in our live chat, Sarah Brock said, I still think that Abby makes a weird chief of staff. And that's a good point. I mean, I think we're so used to Cyrus, but I do think that she stepped into that role well, and we kind of saw the process of her figuring out how to get the nerve and the courage to step to the president and address him a certain way, to manage the other White House employees, and then also to kind of take the mindset of the president and say, okay, I need to be your wife, I need to be your assistant, I need to be all of these things in your life to make you successed. So I think she's doing good.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she fit the role perfectly, to be honest. I was used to Cyrus, but when she came in, she was strong. She always told Fitz how she felt. Yeah. I thought that she was a good fill-in. I mean, if it's not Cyrus, I thought it was Abby.
Yeah, I thought they had a good dynamic. I think she's very, like, candid. I love that they have that candid relationship. I think it's actually really great because... As vicious as Cyrus could be at times, Fitz would definitely sun him in the worst way. I think somehow Abby gets away with a lot more in certain ways. And I think this episode actually showed that she can hold her own. I mean, granted she was being blackmailed, she stuck her hand in Frankie Vargas's body to retrieve that bullet. Like, that girl is fearless. Yes. Like, she literally will do anything, and she wields her power when necessary. So...
But can we talk about why the heck this season do they feel the need to have so much guts and blood? I mean, first the close-up on the brain, then we had to see the guts. We had to?
We couldn't stomach that.
They couldn't stomach it. I was like...
No, I mean, I can watch it. I like these things, but... Scandal?
But I'm used to Grey's Anatomy, 13, 12 years in. I am used to seeing that type of stuff on that show, so I feel like they just move sets. They're like, can we get some of your heart, a little bit of your brain from the set, and bring it over to Scandal?
I'm not a Grey's Anatomy fan, so I didn't realize.
I love it.
But it seemed like The Walking Dead to me.
Right?
Yeah, sorry.
Scandal also used to be on at 10. I feel like that's when it was a little more risque. Now it's on at 9. Like, kids are up watching this. They don't need to be seeing brains.
That's hilarious.
Totally kidding. I'm just
but to mention that scene that you brought up, like, that was crazy. I mean, literally, I felt like our mouths were open from like the point that Meg walked up to her as the nurse. And the first thing that came through my mind was, does she know who Meg was? Like, and then I was having to process it quickly. I was like, no, she's never actually engaged with Meg as being Huck's girlfriend. She doesn't know her association to Jennifer. Like, she didn't know all that back stuff that OPA actually scrapped up to learn more about Jennifer.
And I think also seeing her in that scene answered a question that I had from last episode, which was like, because, you know, it ends where Meg shot Jennifer Fields and shot Huck, and I thought, is she secretly B613 and doing something else?
Right.
And now I realize, like, she's definitely not.
Yeah.
She's Team 2 Live Crew and just being used to manipulate so many situations. So I was glad that they kind of cleared that up. And Meg clearly has no redeeming qualities.
Right. But so far, this team is only a team of 3. Well, it was 4, and the guy got shot immediately. So it's a team of 3 so far that we've seen.
Yeah.
I wonder, I just really want to know how big this 2 Live Crew is, how strong and powerful they are.
And I guess who's essentially behind them.
Yeah.
So one thing that I did like, and they cleared up something that I questioned last week, which was the ballistics of Vargas being shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did they believe that the shooter came from across miles away when really he was shot from underneath? Now, okay, they made Abby go through that whole situation of trying to change out the bullets for the autopsy. But a couple of things I still have a question about. One, the scene of the crime, okay, is where they actually like map out and measure like how far blood splattered and where guts were hanging out. And so I'm like, okay, you didn't realize at that point that the shots came close. And then secondly, is when so the autopsy was done and completed with the bullets, and they wrote down information. What she didn't destroy that paper, and that paper would have had more information about the bullet size. So that was a little questionable. I'm gonna leave it alone, but just an observation.
Leave it to a bigger show.
Yeah, the whole thing was questionable.
Yes.
You're in there by yourself
For a good amount of time.
digging in the president-elect's dead body with no supervision. I'm sorry. Even for Shondaland, that had me like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
But it also had me really anxious. I was like,
It was.
hurry up, Abby. Like, I was on Team Abby at that moment. God, get those bullets.
I wanted her to close the blinds and like just say, I need a moment of silence with him, just to, you know, pray over him. Like, I needed something that would warrant her being there alone in that room. And then I'm like, not the digging in the body, and you just know where the bullets are. There's so many organs. I'm like, she just went in, and wherever she went, there's the bullet.
But the sound effects, you heard the squishy sounds. Oh.
But that was a Playboy movie. Like, I love when she like slipped off the glove and walked in, like that toss. I love the toss.
Yeah.
I did.
Very nice.
I'm like, that was very covert action.
Good
Well,
tea.
Jessica, I don't know about you guys, but I'm dying to know about Paleyfest. Like, please give us more details
Let us
because
know.
we're kicking it into overdrive this season.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to know what's coming next. I know the 100th episode is coming up fairly soon. I know they gave some details about that.
Yes. So this past weekend, I had the opportunity and privilege to go to the Paleyfest that was here at the Dobley Theater, and literally, it was so exciting. I had got the tickets like way back before the season even started. So just the excitement of build up to be able to say, oh my God, all this is happening, and to be able to see the Scandal crew live and in person. Like, I was literally rows from them from the stage. They all came out one by one, smiling, happy, vividly clear. Just a little bit right before they started the panel, some of us were kind of like waiting in the lobby area, getting a drink, kind of hanging out, taking photos, and the cast would like walk into the doors like beneath so you could look down, and Kerry came out. She was so excited. Everyone was screaming her name. She actually pulled out her phone and started like snapping like
saw
people.
that on her social
So
media.
you saw it. Yeah, so it was cool to kind of see her engage and interact. So with the Paleyfest, they start off by showing you one of the episodes and then move into the panel. So it was like, which episode? Well, in honor of the 100th episode that's coming up in a couple of weeks, they decided to take it way back, and they showed season 1, episode 1.
Oh my God.
Yes. So it was cool to be like with other Scandal fans in this auditorium, and people were like screaming and clapping and, you know, and reacting to the scene.
Wow.
And then also the cast was watching it behind. behind in the green room, they were actually watching the episode with us. So they came out kind of like nostalgic and kind of excited just on the fact of being able to see themselves again. And it was so funny because the first thing that Rosen said, David Rosen, on the show, he goes, "Wow, I didn't realize how great of an actor I was back then," you know. So they haven't seen it in a while because they probably rarely watch themselves. So that was cool.
It's a throwback. Oh my god.
It was a throwback.
That gives me all the feels. I actually remember the first episode. Well, the first time that I saw it, I didn't actually watch it while it was on airing in real time. It was actually the weekend of Hurricane Sandy. I was still living in New York, and we had nothing to do. We were kind of just like waiting it out, and my sister's like, "Yo, you gotta watch this show, Scandal." I think we burned through season 1 and 2, or all of season 1. I can't remember at the time. Just I was hooked.
Yes.
Like. And then when the power went out, I was so pissed because I couldn't keep watching it. I remember being so into it. Definitely like a whole world away from where we are now, but I can totally appreciate just the growth of the show and the cast and the storytelling and how much all the roller coaster rides Shonda Rhimes has taken us on over these past 6 seasons. So
it really was exciting. So a couple of like little insider info that they shared with us. Well, number one, Kerry was kind of saying how excited they are about social media. Of course, you know, they're uberly engaged, and she was saying that every Thursday they are so engaged. Even when they're filming, like between the times that East Coast and West Coast is on, they're always on their phones. So she's like, we're on set like this. She's like, and they're like, action. And we're like, okay. And then we're like, and so she's like, they love it, but they're so distracted. God. She was like, I feel bad for any of our directors that happens on a Thursday because we're totally not in the scene. We're totally into our fans. So that was cool. There was a moment where they shared their best memories, which of the show, which was kind of cool. But before I get into their best memories, I want to talk about Zoe, which is Jeff's daughter.
Okay.
The lady in red, 2 Live crew, and how she got involved with the show. Basically, Jeff said that a year ago they had a play together. Him and his daughter were in a play together, and Shonda Rhimes came to see the play, and she remembered his daughter from that play, and yeah, it kind of like, oh, this lady stuck in my mind. And a year later, she kind of like wrote her in. I was like, would she be interested in doing it? It's like, heck yeah. So that was cool. Like, wow.
Nice.
It was from an experience. It wasn't even like, oh, there was an open role and she auditioned for it and it's Jeff Perry's daughter, so she's gonna get the role. No, Shonda had that lady in her head. So that was kind of cool. I think we have just a couple of photos from the Paleyfest that I just wanted to show you guys because, you know, it was kind of cool just being able to see the cast. There's a good one. Yeah, they look so beautiful as they came out and walked. And just were up there. It was a very emotional panel.
Yeah, who's
the guy in the right at the bottom? He was the host. He was the moderator.
Oh, okay.
Of the panel.
That's Scott Foley. Who's that?
And then the next one was just a close up while they're on stage. And then,
Bachelor, I think.
yeah, well, he's an athlete. He's an athlete.
He looks like Aaron
Jesse
Rodgers'
Palmer,
brother.
former
Jesse
quarterback
Palmer, yes, that's who he is. Yeah, and he's a TV personality on ABC.
Dope.
So he was there, which is cool. And next photo is a close-up of them. I mean, we love that. It was just so, because Kerry actually got emotional multiple times during the show. Next photo. This is just a little red carpet action. Me and my friend there is a little dark. Next photo. An amazing opportunity. I got to meet Joe Morton. Yes.
Did he not like try and snap your neck after? Like
no. My experience meeting him was pretty incredible because I was coming up to him and I was kind of talking to him, but like over this man that was in front of me. And as I was talking to him about like, oh, okay, let's do a selfie. He was like, okay, awesome. And the man wouldn't move. Like he would not move. And I was like, excuse me, sir, can I just like slide in to get a picture? And he was just kind of like there, kind of. And Joe Martin looked at him and he gave what I call a Papa Pope look, kind of like, and the guy was like, oh, okay, and I just kind of like slid in. And I was like, thank you for being Papa Pope for me.
On
like
TV
that was
and
amazing
in real life.
on TV and in real life. But he was so sweet, so genuine, and just all of their characters really showed. Just real quick, I'll tell you. About a couple of best memories that they had. Abby, she got emotional and started tearing up on stage because her favorite memory was season 2 when she had to tell Olivia, this is your name on this door. you are Olivia Pope. And that inspirational talk up, she loved the fact that Olivia saved her and then she got to save Olivia. And last, she loved the fact that when she was in that office with that scotch in her hand and said, my name is not Gabby, it's Abby. She was like, that was so empowering. Okay, Fit's favorite moment was the 2012 election. It was actually going on in real life. And it was that scene that we will all remember once I say it, but when Liv and him were touching the Constitution, they were doing a throwback to like, oh, this is how they kind of like met and kind of got involved. They were touching the Constitution. That moment was so important because that was actually election night. And as they were filming that scene, President Barack Obama was elected to his second term as president of the United States. Awesome. And then Olivia, Kerry Washington shared something personal. She was like, I don't share personal, as you guys know. She was like, but I'm going to share with you guys that one of my favorite memories was right after she had her daughter. And all of the cast, all of the women of Scandal came over to her house and they sat with her and they looked at the baby, they talked, they like shared in that memory. She was like, that was so special to have all of you ladies here. And the second memory, which kind of choked me up a little bit, she was like, it's going to be weird that I'm saying this is my favorite, but he will understand. She was like, Harrison's funeral. That episode, she was like, it was such an honor to be able to honor Harrison's role in the way that they were able to in that episode. She was like, our love for Columbus Short is impeccable, and it made us so emotional on set that day. And I was like, dang. Like, that's so real. That's so real. But I have a video that I took of them sharing their favorite moment. So I'll share it on my Twitter page. I'll post it. So go to my Twitter to be able to see that, and more pictures, more videos. It was amazing. Like, I'm so happy that I went, and just being able to like soak up all the goodness of Scandal.
That's awesome.
See, that's why you guys got to be following Jessica, because we got to see this live. We got to see her really zooming in on these characters. So
yeah, Snapchat. I was like, Snapchat was live that day.
Yes, it was very live.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure we all wish we could have been there with you, or just a fly on the wall. It's such an amazing experience. Perks of being in LA.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So, and I know there was a lot of buzz about the 100th episode, but before we get to that, we got to get through episodes 99 and 98 and 99. I think we're at 97, I guess.
There's two more.
Two more away.
Yeah.
This is a good time for us to segue into predictions.
Yeah.
Just based off of how this episode ended.
Now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Oh boy.
All right. I'm going to go out. I'm going to handle this one first.
Yes,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
nothing
Tackle
too
it, girl.
prolific, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say maybe we see the next episode from... Okay, we've seen it from Abby's perspective. We've seen it from Jake's.
We kind of got a little bit of Jake's wife, and seeing that Jake was missing type of thing. So we got a little bit of hers.
Yeah, actually, maybe I'll just retract that one. I actually don't know who else's perspective we can see this episode from. I'm actually curious to see if we're gonna maybe Fitz, maybe move past that sort of vantage point of the same moment and see what comes next.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. Hopefully that we move the storyline along. They've kind of answered. Abby's motive and just how she got corralled into it and involved in it. I mean, the teaser kind of shows us, like, the hunt for if Huck is still alive. I guess we're going to get a lot of that next episode. Curious if they'll give us more about this storyline, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, so I might be giving too much credit to Abby, but this whole episode, she was talking about, like, I'm stronger than you think. I have more methods to my madness than you think. So I feel like the next episode maybe not the next episode, but in general, might be Abby pulling out of this, finding a way to get away from this Two Life crew and she already is getting Cyrus out, which is what she wanted. So I feel like maybe Abby might have a way to get out of this grasp of the Two Life crew. Maybe.
Well, what happens when Cyrus gets out? That's what I want to know.
That's also true,
what
too.
Happens
what happens
after that?
And what do they really want, the Two Life crew? They didn't want Abby to be president, so what did they want? That's what we gotta find out.
No, I like that, and I actually agree. I feel like Abby, estimated her character, I would say. You know, how the season kind of led us. It was like, oh, Abby's up to no good. But no, Abby is actually like she's being a gladiator right now. And as sad as it was and how we thought that killing Jennifer was an ill intent, she actually sacrificed Jennifer to save Cyrus. And at the end of the day, we do care more about Cyrus than we do Jennifer. And so I thought that that was a powerful move. I think that she is... I agree in the fact that she will be the one to save everyone from this. She will figure out a way. She will utilize her power. She will escape. I mean, they've threatened her, I feel, a little bit more than everyone else in a sense of they're literally following her. Like they're literally showing up and saying, nope, nope, nope. You thought you could do this, but nope. And so, I think that next episode, well, first off, we're left this episode at the exact same point that we were last week. Is Huck dead or alive? I always say he's alive, and I believe that he's alive. Funny thing, Huck at the event, he was like, oh my God, my social media was blowing up. People were crying out like, oh no, you didn't get shot twice. You didn't get shot this many times. You didn't get shot in the heart. You have to be alive. So he was just like overwhelmed by social media with his shooting. But moving forward, I think that... there may be someone else that's at the top of it, and hopefully we find out more. I would love for them to continue with this, with what's going on with Abby. I just love seeing her like walk it out and problem solve it. And next week we'll determine if we'll see how they unmask Meg as being actually the shooter, because at the end she's there with the blonde hair, looking a mess, looking like a wet dog.
Like a wet, yeah. I was looking like a wet rat.
Yeah.
Skinny, but sorry, no offense. I think we all really want that question to be answered and for things to move along. And then, there's just a lot of feelers out there on social media about the premise of the 100th episode, which is coming pretty soon. And, the idea of it being like an alternate reality and what it would be like had they not rigged the election for Fitz and just completely reimagining, I guess, season 1 through 6, from the start. So I'm really, really excited to see that one. I'm excited to see next week.
Will it be the whole scope from 1 through 6? Does it go back to when they rigged the election?
Yeah.
Wow. See,
I mean, I don't think we're gonna see everything, but I'm saying that essentially, if it went that way, it changes everything. So
that's gonna be the 100th episode, you guys. You want to tune in. First off, it's gonna be a celebration here. So you want to definitely watch, because we're going to celebrate 100th episode. It'll be the 100th episode of Scandal actually on AfterBuzz as well, because Scandal has been on since day one.
Nice.
Yeah, so that will be exciting. We're going to have a celebration, but it's going to be such an epic episode like you just described. Like, I cannot wait.
I'm here for all the nostalgic feels.
Yeah.
I want it.
The throwbacks and the changes and
Dope. All right. Well, this was amazing.
Yeah.
As always, you guys can connect with us here. We love having you on the show and the live chat. Be sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on iTunes, everywhere you can connect with us, and definitely follow our lovely hosts on social media. Jessica, where can they find you?
Yes, they can find me on Twitter at Miss Jessica WW and on Instagram at Miss Jessica Williams. Tweet me.
I am almost everywhere except Twitter. That's Snapchat, that's Instagram, that's Facebook at Parris Rose with 2 R's.
And I'm your host, Christine Alexis. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.